Man, I will not go see Joker. I won't. There's no chance in hell. Or at least I won't pay for it. I won't spend my own money to go see that movie. I refuse to go see that movie. There's no version. There's no chance that I will pay to go see the Joker movie. That's not happening.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Hey, stop them! Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by.
What?
If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life is still worthwhile. If you
What's so funny?
just
Freak?
Gotham's lost its way. What kind of coward would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a comedy.
if you just smile.
Did they just play a trailer? Did that just happen? I just missed it. I didn't even get to see it. But, well, you know, thank God I don't care. Alright, let's dive right in. You know, I haven't seen the movie. I'm going to totally crap on this movie, by the way. I haven't seen it, nor will I go see it, and I'll explain why. You know, first of all, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me just compliment the actors. You know, I try not to give credit to any writers of any kind, and I'll never do this again. But, you know, I saw a lot of familiar faces. Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, yada, yada, yada. And, I'm sure they did a bang-up job. And sucking at this movie. This movie is garbage, people. This version of the Joker is terrible. Apart from him looking like Ronald McDonald's demented cousin, he's no clown prince of crime. He's just a clown. I just want to say the Joker, the actual Joker, is the iconic Mark Hamill's portrayal of him. Can we agree on that?
Nice of you to say, but you of all people should know there's plenty wrong with me. It's true, Batsy. I know everything. And kinda like the kid who peeks at his Christmas presents, I must admit, it's sadly anticlimactic. Behind all the sturm and batarangs, you're just a little boy in a play suit crying for mommy and daddy. It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
That is the Joker I know. Now, look, I'm sure Joaquin Arizona, or whatever his name is a good actor where he comes from. But playing an iconic role like the Joker, that is some huge, huge shoes to fill.
Well put, Sardine Breath.
The problem that I have with Joker is the movie's all about him. That's number one. How are you going to make a movie all about a villain? You may as well have made a movie called The Penguin, or The Firefly, or The Bane. But the Joker, that just doesn't work. Look, if they had made a Penguin movie, that could work, because characters like Oswald Cobblepot have an origin story. But the Joker has no origin story. He can't even remember it, so how can you give him one?
What is it with you? What made you what you are? Girlfriend killed by the mob, maybe? Brother carved up by some mugger? Something like that, I know. Because something like that happened to me. Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice. My point is, I went crazy.
Batman's?
Who else?
Yours?
Come again?
Let me tell you what I believe. I believe that you have fabricated a series of events that you use to conceal the truth about your condition. I have read 12 different accounts of your past. All different, except for one detail. Batman.
What can I say? I like to keep things interesting. A wise man once told me that if you have to have an origin story, you're better off making it multiple choice.
The Joker is the very antithesis of Batman. No matter what his origin story is, no matter how many different times he tells it, one thing that's always the same is the encounter he has with Batman. You can't have Joker without the Batman. You just can't. And on the other side of that, you also can't have Batman without the Joker. You just can't do that.
Fascinating, like watching two sides of the same coin.
The way the Joker is in the comics, I like his style because what he says about his origin being multiple choice seems really in character with him. There's something really promising about that. Also something really scary. Even Heath Ledger's portrayal touched on that a bit in the Dark Knight movie. In the Dark Knight, Joker would never talk about how he became the Joker. Rather, he would always talk about the scars on his face, the smile scars he has on his face. And he would always change the story about how he got them. It goes back to that multiple choice thing about changing up his past all the time.
You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night, he goes off crazier than usual. Well, you look nervous. Is it the scars? You want to know how I got them? Come here. Hey. Look at me. So I had a wife. She was beautiful. Like you. Who tells me I worry too much? Who tells me I ought to smile more? Who gambles and gets in deep with the sharks? Hey, one day they carve her face. We have no money for surgeries. She can't take it. I just want to see her smile again. I just want her to know that I don't care about the scars. So, I stick a razor in my mouth and do this to myself. And you know what? She can't stand the sight of me. She leaves. Now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling.
Heath Ledger, by the way, is probably the greatest portrayal of Joker when it comes to the live action, playing the live action version of him. He's the best. Yeah, I said it. All you Jack Nicholson fans, you're wrong. And if you disagree with me, well, you just can't handle the truth. But that brings me back to my original question. How can you give this character an origin story? And to add insult to injury, again, The Dark Knight is not even in this movie. Bruce Wayne was in it, but he's just a little kid. His parents are still alive, and the Joker is in it. Joker's like in his 40s in this movie, so by the time Bruce Wayne will take to the streets as Batman, Joker will be like, what? In his 60s? He'll be fighting a clown on a cane. But I guess they don't think these things out. It doesn't make sense. Now, just as there are many incarnations of the Joker, there are also many incarnations of Batman. From the comics, to the various cartoons, to the video game, and even the movies, the live-action movies. I like to follow the traditional Bruce Wayne Batman story. I'm talking about the classics, with Dick Grayson as the first Robin, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, then Oracle, Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and Tim Drake. Now, we may not know the Joker's origin, but what we do know is Batman was there. Batman, not Bruce Wayne, as a kid or whatever. In all of the Joker's, multiple choice crap about his origin, Batman was there. Batman was on the streets of Gotham before Joker was terrorizing them.
So, Red Hood, we meet again.
Stay away from me! Don't come any closer, you monster! I'm itching all over. What's that?
It's a setup! Wait! I'm not a crook, I swear!
Hard to forget that night, huh?
Like, come on now, bro. DC. Let's not forget the classics. Are these scenes a joke to y'all? What are they doing? Now look, I hate comparing DC to Marvel because, it's just so unfair. Marvel is so much better when it comes to their live action movies. They have the best people working on their stuff and the best stories. So it's really unfair. It's like PlayStation and Xbox. It's just unfair. But I've got to point this out. It's like DC just intriguingly takes every wrong step when it comes to their live action movies. In Avengers Infinity War was very much a Thanos-driven movie. You could arguably say that was Thanos' movie. You know, Thanos was the main character. He had the most screen time in the whole movie. We've seen him before in other MCU movies, but Infinity War, while that was an Avengers movie, it was centered around him. The story was centered around him and his Infinity Quest. But we still had the Avengers in that movie. And even though there were like 70 different characters in that movie, they all got a chance to shine, with Thanos being the main character of the story. That's how you make a villain movie. The Killing Joke did the exact same thing. Batman the Killing Joke was a Joker story. It was centered around the Joker, but it still had Batman in it. That is a Joker movie. That's how you do it. See, that's the problem that I have with DC. They have every opportunity to be great, even to beat Marvel, with all the comics and the animated universes they have access to, yet they keep picking the wrong people to play their characters, and they keep picking some dumb stories and putting their little spin onto it, and coming out with trashy movie after movie after movie. It's like the source material means nothing to these people. Yeah, take a look at Suicide Squad, for instance. Killer Croc. What? Look at this sadness. He looks like the freaking Goomba off of the live-action Super Mario Brothers movie. Out of all the ways to make Killer Croc, of all people, they have access to the comics and the cartoons. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They do not use their source material. Look at that.
You city boys need to learn yourself some manners.
Who are you?
Name's Croc. Killer Croc. But you can call me boss. You are peskier than a fly in a...
When half the biotech firms in town get hit, I get curious. You look like you've been working out, Croc. The tail's new.
Yeah, got an upgrade.
How is it that in 2013's The Amazing Spider-Man, which wasn't amazing at all, by the way, that lizard guy looks more like Killer Croc than Killer Croc does in Suicide Squad from 2016? And I'm only mentioning the movie dates of the year because over time, shouldn't the CGI and the technology get better? This is a lizard guy we have from 2013 fighting Spider-Man. Yet Killer Croc, this is what we get for Suicide Squad in 2016 from Killer Croc. Looks like we took a step back to the 1980s or something. With all the comic books, the animated series, and even the video games, the Arkhamverse, everything they have access to, that's how Killer Croc looks. Ugh! You know, and it's not just Killer Croc that they do that with. They do that with a lot of their iconic characters. And I don't get it. It's completely and utterly stupid. So, if I were to wrap this up, tie it with a bow, whatever, I guess I would say the reason I'm not going to see the Joker movie is because it's pointless. You know, it's its own thing, not connected to anything else in the DCEU. That's another thing DC does. They'll make movies that's not connected to anything. Is it even canon with anything? It's ridiculous. It's pointless. You know, I'm done. As a matter of fact, if I were to recommend any comic book movie that you guys should see, I would say go see Spider-Man Far From Home. That is a great, great film. Comic book inspired, comic book accurate, and very, very good. And a really nice ending to Phase 3 of the MCU. And I'm really excited that Tom Holland is back in the MCU. Spider-Man Far From Home. Go see it. Back to DC. Yeah, they're just broken. And again, you know, if I didn't care, I wouldn't bust their balls about it. DC, let me just show y'all, if DC kept the people that they had, even now, and they fixed the things that were broken, like good storytelling and stuff, this is what DC could look like.